Hey Willie, how are you?
Good. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. Can you hear me all right?
Yep.
All right, sounds good. You ready to get started?
Yeah, absolutely. Whenever you're ready.
All right. So my first question for you is, how did you get into racing?
It was a family thing. We've always been
Okay.
into racing. My dad, my uncle, they were big drag racers. I drag raced, and then I
Yep.
decided to do something different, and we got into stock car racing back there in my early 20s.
Okay. And do you remember most about what do you remember most about your first ARCA race?
Um, I thought we would be faster than what we were. And then we had a lot of mechanical issues and blew up a bunch of motors, and it was it was okay, but it was a lot of learning.
Yeah, I bet. So you've been both a driver and you're now an owner and driver. What are the biggest challenges of doing both jobs?
To do both jobs is, let me think about that. For me, without my wife, we wouldn't be able to do this, right? Because
Yeah.
she takes care of so much of the behind the scenes stuff. For me, it's just making sure the cars are all together. And then also the financial aspect. I can't overspend and race more races so we can continue to do this year after year is our biggest hurdle is just making sure we don't
Yeah.
overspend.
Uh, my next question actually is, what is it like working with your wife on your team?
That's great. She works at our business every day. Some days are better than others, but most days we get along and we have a great working dynamic. She keeps me grounded, if you want to call it that. Keeps me from doing dumb things during the week. So it's good to have her there. We get along
Yeah.
great, and I'm privileged to have a great wife to be part of this.
So you had an incredible runner-up finish at Daytona in 2018. What do you remember about that race? What went well, what didn't?
Everything. I remember everything from that day. It's very an emotional day. Um, we just laid back at the beginning of the race. We missed a lot of the big wrecks. I remember sitting under two red flags. It was one of the longest ARCA races. I think it went 3.5, 4 hours.
Dang.
We started during the middle of the day
Hmm.
and we didn't end until really not late in the night, but pretty dark. Um, I remember Noah Grayson. He got black flagged because he jumped a start, and he was supposed to start behind me on the last restart. And I remember Sheldon Creed. He finished third behind me. I remember a lot of the things. And then, Kevin Reed was the one that was crew chief in Michael Self's car that night.
Okay.
And then Kevin is now helping us get these cars faster. So it's a big circle of things coming back around. The Chevrolet that we own is the car that Sheldon Creed was driving when it was a Toyota, and
Okay.
that was the car that pushed me to third or to second that finished third. So it's crazy how everything is just intertwined.
Do you remember where you started that day?
I think we qualified decent. I think we were 10th, 12th, 14th, but we dropped to the back on the green flag, and
Okay.
we rode around by ourselves for a while just to stay out of the mess. And that year there was a lot of big messes.
What makes Daytona such a good track for you? You had the pole there, right, in 2024?
Yeah, we sat on the pole there 2 years ago, I think it was, or three. Um, I think we just put a lot of effort into that. We bring really good cars to the racetrack, well prepared cars.
Yeah.
So it's been good for us to showcase working out of our own garage here in Virginia that we're able to build, you know,
Yep.
top quality, good competing cars. If everybody saw IRP, we had Bryce Applegate in the car, and he was up there running top five with the points leader. So we can do it on short tracks just as much as we can do it at Daytona.
Okay. And how different is it comparing or preparing for Daytona compared to like a short track like Elko?
A lot of difference. Like Daytona is 99.9% of preparation in the shop.
Okay.
And then you just go there and hold the gas pedal down. Then you go to a short track, it's 50% preparation and 50% driver. And that's where so much more shows up as a driver is at the short tracks. I struggle myself to be in the top 10, and then we put a good driver in the car at IRP, and he was easily in the top five. So we have good prepared cars. I
Yep.
just struggle because I haven't raced my entire life like these kids. So that's what's so much better is these kids that are in these go karts from when they're a little kid to young
Yeah.
adults.
Uh, so your most recent race was Elko. Can you give us a breakdown of that race from a driver's perspective?
Yeah, Elko was a pretty calm race this year. We had our car really handling. Bryant Fraser's been our crew chief all year. This is the first time I've had a crew chief back to back to back races, and it's really shown with myself getting comfortable in a
Okay.
car. In the race, like I said, went smooth. We didn't have anything weird happen. We just went out there, and I was hoping to have a better finish. I think we finished eighth or ninth that night,
Yep.
2 laps down. So we were hoping to be a lead lap car. We just didn't get it because that last run, it went green the whole way. So proud of
Yep.
what we did, but just hopeful to get better.
Okay. Uh, what did road racing teach you that you've been able to use in stock cars?
I think road racing honestly taught me some bad habits. The biggest thing that I struggle with is overdriving a corner.
Okay.
Um, it is one of the things that I think road racing taught me, but road racing also taught me car control and being able to drive the car a little bit freer than some people. So road racing gives you a lot more time in the car, and that's why I went that direction at first. Is we had to turn a lot more laps and get comfortable in the car, and then I wanted to go into circle track racing, and that's
Yeah.
what we did from SCCA.
Okay. Uh, how has ARCA changed since when you first entered the series in 2008?
Well, it's changed. It's had a big swing both ways. So when we first started, everywhere we went, a lot of times you had cars that went home. My first road race at New Jersey, there was a full field there.
Okay.
The first time I went to Daytona, I think 5, 6 cars went home that year. And then after that, we lost a lot of the field, especially around COVID time. And then now everything's starting to come back. We're sending cars home at
Yeah.
Daytona. We had a full field at IRP. ARCA's really getting momentum back, and I'm proud of what Ron and Bobby Thompson and Joe and all those guys are doing. The Menards family has been a huge asset
Yeah.
to the Menards, to the ARCA brand. So we're happy with all that, and can't wait to see where it goes in the future.
So do you remember how you got your first opportunity in 2008? Because you were driving your own car still, but
Yeah.
it was the 14, right?
Right. So what we did, it was a bunch of things that happened to make that. I had been running SCCA and I wanted to go run an ARCA race. It was the first time they had been back at a road course, I think in 6 or 8 years.
Okay.
So I bought a brand new chassis from Andy Belmont that was selling it, and I bought it for $1,000. I went and bought a used body from Richard Childers, and
Okay.
put all that stuff together and built my own car. I literally built my own car the first time I went to an ARCA race. I probably had 10 grand in it, and I went to an ARCA race. Not
Yeah.
knowing what I didn't know, and I jumped off with both feet. Was it crazy? It was very crazy for me to think that I could go from SCCA and go compete in a national touring series, but we did it.
Yep.
We qualified 20th out of 40 cars or 38 cars there at New Jersey. My motors didn't hold up. They were built at my house, and I had to learn a lot there. But it was just I took the chance, right?
Yep.
That's the biggest thing I want everybody to know is you just got to take a chance sometimes in life and see where it leads you.
And it ended up working out really, really good for you, right?
It did. It's been a struggle because I've only been able to race what I can afford to race.
Yeah.
And that was, a lot of the first years, the first 10 years or whatever, I could only afford one set of tires. I could only
Okay.
afford to have buddies come with me. We didn't have crew chiefs, all that stuff. And we just did that and it worked out. We got attention and I started getting my driving techniques better and I became a better driver and that's where we're at now.
Okay. Uh, is there a track on the current ARCA schedule that you haven't raced at but really want to?
I'd love to go to Bristol. I've
Yep.
never done that. I ran Salem, and I've been told if you can run Salem, you can easily run Bristol. That would be one of my bucket list tracks because
Yeah.
it's, the last great Coliseum, as they call it. That would be pretty cool to do.
How do you balance your business responsibilities with preparing for a race weekend?
Well, it becomes very, very hectic. What happens is usually I leave work at 5 or 6, and then I go over to the race shop, work till 9 o'clock, and then come home and then do it all over again. We usually get to work about 7 o'clock in the morning and do that, and then every day, and
Yeah.
I try to start preparing a month before we go testing so that I can have everything ready and it's not too much of a struggle to be a well prepared car when we go.
How do you find sponsorship? Is that something that
Um,
you do, or do they come to you?
it's very hard. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I literally built this business that we have right now so I could afford to go racing. I didn't build it to do anything different. And as the business has grown, I've been able to race a little bit more. We have some small sponsors that help, like DP Customs this year and last year have come on board, and they help, with our rooms down at Daytona this year.
Okay.
Then we have Crowing Recycling. They help with my tire bill. Um, CorvetteParts.net every year for the past 5 or 6, 7 years have always been on my quarter panels, and they've been great and helped us, just financially to be able to afford to go down to Daytona.
Yeah.
So all those, and then all our little associate sponsors, KRM Golf Carts, Timmy Brand Snap-on Tools, everybody gives just a little bit so we can afford to go. The other thing that's been helping this that the beginning of the years is we do an Amazon wish list, and that gets
Okay.
a lot of traction. We put a lot of the nickel and dime things where people want to spend $50 on us, they can do that, and then we put their name on the car.
Okay. What is something fans don't understand about the amount of work that goes into an ARCA weekend?
Um, Fans don't understand how much logistics goes into an ARCA weekend. I
Okay.
would say that's the biggest thing. Everybody knows you got to get a car ready.
Yeah.
Everybody knows you got to get the car to the track, but also logistically, like for our little small team, we have to fly 3 or 4 crew guys out of Mooresville. They fly to our track. Then
Okay.
we have to have the truck driver get the car there, or myself, like we went to Indy, I drove.
Yep.
So there's a lot of logistics a lot of people don't understand to get everything there, get it unloaded, get it raced, get it back in the trailer, and get it back home. If everybody saw my little saga at IRP, I left one of our pop-up tents there, and unfortunately, we've got it back, kind of. It's still up in Indy. A friend of ours, Brayton Laster, has it right now. So
Okay.
that's just how it's worked out. And logistics are just very hard
Yeah.
sometimes for the ARCA teams.
Uh, s- Speaking more on the fan side, did you play video games ever growing up?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We had NASCAR. What was the PlayStation? We had the NASCAR game on PlayStation, and then before that, I had the Papyrus NASCAR game. So that was the two things I did a lot of when I was a young kid.
Okay. And how do you feel now that you're actually in one of the games? Did you ever think you'd be
I
here?
No, no, it was kind of cool to even hear the possibility of being in it. And then you don't think about it much, and then somebody like you brings it up again, and it's still in awe that I will be in that video game forever, for eternity.
Yep. What is your favorite type of car that you've raced in?
Favorite car that I've raced in. I'm just comfortable in the ARCA car, all
Okay. Yep.
forms of it. Um, I really enjoyed the last time I ran New Jersey in my Robbie Gordon car. That was a really good car. And the late models are pretty neat too. We started running those the past 5 years here and there, and they all have their uniqueness to where I like all of them.
Okay. What goals do you still want to accomplish in racing?
Um, Man, I'd love to set on another pole.
Yep.
The biggest thing is I'd love to get another top five or even a win. I know that's probably reaching for the stars, but top five would be a realistic goal for me.
And you've had Is it two top fives in your career? One in the East series?
Yep, we had an East top five, and then we finished the second at Daytona. We've had a good amount of top tens at Daytona too. So, we've done a lot of things with a little team.
Is Daytona a track you want to do every single year?
It was. I enjoy now coming to Elko.
Yeah.
Elko's more of the home track to me. Berlin's been pretty cool. Unfortunately, this year we can't go to Madison because we just tore the car up there at IRP. But I really enjoy the short track stuff now.
Yeah, I like Elko too. That's definitely my favorite track. Well, it's my home
Yeah,
track, so gotta like it. Uh,
absolutely. They always have good crowd there. I
mhm.
appreciate all the fans that come out every year.
Does working in an auto body repair give you a different perspective when it comes to setting up or maintaining your race car?
Not really. I think what working out in the shop helps me with just conditioning. I know I'm a big guy and all that, but we're out there sweating every day,
Yeah.
beating on these trash trucks. And it does give me a different perspective on the mechanical side of putting a car
Okay.
together. So, I know how much it takes to get one of these cars pretty close to perfect. Never will any race car be perfect, but
Yeah.
we put the best product out we can.
So, do you build your cars from scrap, from nothing?
We buy usually used chassis,
Got it.
and then we'll get a body hung on it, or something like that. The farthest one we've ever done was our Daytona Super Speedway car. We
Okay.
raced it for many years, and then we put the new body on it. Then we wrecked it, front clipped it. I take them all the way apart every couple years, and we
Okay.
sandblast them and do all the maintenance and make them look like brand new cars. But all the cars in our fleet are pretty old. I think the newest one's like a 2013 or 2014 car.
Okay. And how long does it usually take to build one of these cars?
For myself, I've had a year putting one back together that's
Wow.
already been built. Just because of, like you were talking, the work schedule. It's
Yeah.
hard to get over there and put a full day in on it. Because we have another car we're getting ready to pull apart, get it blasted, start putting that together. So there's a lot that goes into making them the way I want them and making them pretty close to new.
Uh, do you have a favorite like paint scheme that you've ever run?
I loved our red ones that we ran at the first time we went to Daytona. They were beautiful up close.
Uh-huh.
On the track, you couldn't really tell. Our current paint scheme, I really like it because everybody recognizes it.
Yeah.
And that's one of the best things we got is just recognition.
And hold up, what was my question? Sorry, I just blanked.
That's okay.
So my last question for you is, what is one piece of advice that you would give to someone trying to get into racing?
My biggest advice for somebody to try to get into racing is go to your local short track, whether it's dirt, asphalt, go kart, doesn't matter, and go try to just learn.
Yeah.
Learn about cars and setups and people, and then try to get into the next bigger team and see if they need help. It's hard financially right now to just jump into racing,
Yeah.
but there's a lot of great avenues, with Bandoleros, Legends cars, go karts, for people to even get started. There's a lot of front wheel drive cars, the Crown Vic cars. There are avenues for somebody that has a paycheck that they have to live off of and they want to go racing a little bit. Try to do it
Okay.
economically and start in those classes. And I know we're reaching for the stars for a lot of people to say, man, that's $500 that I got to spend to go to their track. Well,
Yeah.
if you want to do it, you're going to do it. You're going to
Yeah.
find a way to do it. And, I want everybody to try to continue to get into the sport of racing, of automobiles, because we're slowly losing, our foothold in the racing aspect of this world. And you're seeing tracks close and, car counts dwindling, but we need people, new people, young people to get into this sport.
I I regained my question. I remembered it. It was do you plan on doing another race this year?
We'll see. I don't really plan on it. We have a lot of projects around the house we need to get finished.
Okay.
My wife already has me started on Christmas decoration stuff, so I'd like to. I wanted to go to Madison, but like I said, we hurt the car there
Yeah.
at IRP, and we got to get that rebuilt. So we're working on that now. get it down to the chassis guy, get a front clip put on it, and see where we end up.
Well, that's all I've got for you. Thank you so much for doing this, Willie.
Yep, I appreciate it. And anytime you need me, I'm always here.